You're lying, and you have this thing on your chest.
So?
Because you're familiar with this confrontation.
No, I've only had one before.
I want to see your business card.
No.
I want to know who you are.
No.
Turbo Karen.
Nice.
This is body cam footage that Tom is wearing.
Okay.
I advise everybody to get a body camera. I have one right here. I'll put a link in the description. I wear it whenever I'm out doing stuff like this. There's the Karen.
We're a neighbor here too. So are you doing like a survey type situation?
No, I'm filming some stuff around the area.
You're what?
Just filming stuff around the area.
Filming stuff for what?
Just for whatever.
Whatever?
Yeah.
No, we need to know. We need to know.
I'm flying into public airspace. Public,
So
into
you're
public.
flying a drone? Is what
Yeah.
you're doing?
Mhm.
Okay, for who?
It's for a client, and I'm not divulging what it's for. It's for somebody, and we don't want what's out there.
Okay, so you've been hired by somebody?
Yeah.
But we need to know as
Who have you been hired by?
you need to tell us. We're a neighbor.
We got to know. We need to know.
Yeah.
We need
Curiosity killed the cat.
You need to tell us.
So what are you looking at? This place? This place? What?
Just right now, I'm just flying over the area.
Okay. You have a drone too, and we're familiar with all those requirements. So we need to know who you're working for. We're a neighbor. We're right here.
I got a license to use the public
I know,
airspace.
and I
The
know
same as you have a license.
To have with the nautical, I understand that. I need to know what you're doing in our area.
I'm flying a drone. I'm taking pictures of the sunset and stuff right
No,
now.
you're not.
How do you know what I'm taking pictures of?
No, you're not. What are you doing?
I tell you what. I don't have to tell you what I'm doing. I'm flying a drone and taking pictures. That's what I'm doing. Right now of the sunset.
No, you're
Karen
not.
is very persistent.
You don't know what I'm doing.
No, but you're not also not telling us.
Karen is very persistent.
She is very persistent. And she
it's
has
not the sunset. She knows.
No, and she has a little mousy husband in there with her too.
I don't have to tell you. I don't have to be. It's protected. It's a protected right under the Constitution of the United States to fly and film.
And I have a drone license, so I'm familiar.
You are a bald-faced liar.
You
Okay.
need to tell me.
If you're out in public and you're filming,
DJI is great, and it has all the gyros, and it is great.
okay, then there was no problem
I
then.
understand. Yeah, no, I'm asking you as a neighbor, what do you do?
Right now, I'm taking pictures of the sunset.
Because, no, we're affected too. No, you're not taking pictures of the sunset. That's a lie.
Don't lie right now.
Which way is the drone pointed?
No, what are you?
I don't have to tell you what I'm taking pictures of.
No, what are you doing?
Why are you here?
Then
Why
I
are
know.
you on this property?
Then I need to
Because
see,
I
and
am.
I see your
Did
camera.
this property owner allow you to park up?
Yes, sir.
I need to see, and I see your recording, and I
Yes,
need to- I
ma'am,
need to
because
see
I
your
get
business
people
card.
like you
I need
sometimes.
to see your business card.
I don't identify to anybody.
No, you need to give me your business card.
I don't have a business card.
You need to.
New card. What do you think?
She's looking to give referrals, so she needs to see that business card.
I don't know why I'm not lucky enough to run into Karens like this myself. I dream of this.
I have to have a business card to fly into public airspace.
So, to answer my question, the owner of this property, if we call them, will say they hired you to call them,
I'm sure he would.
do what they,
Yeah,
whatever you do.
probably.
We're neighbors, and we're concerned neighbors, and we're active neighbors, and we're involved too because you're taking pictures of
Any-
stuff too.
I'm not taking pictures of anything over there.
No, you are.
No, I'm not.
It's all captured. I have a drone. I am familiar.
It hasn't been over there. It's been this direction, probably about on the other side of that building.
Pictures of the sunset. That's a lie.
Whatever she says is a lie.
That's what I'm doing right now because I've already finished my assignment.
You're lying, and you have this thing on your chest
So,
because you're familiar with this confrontation.
no, I've only had one
I
before.
want to see your business card.
No,
I want to know who you are.
no,
That's your truck.
no.
She knows it's a confrontation. She used
Yes,
the
she
word
does.
confrontation.
Mhm.
She knows what she's doing.
Absolutely.
She's such a little busybody.
That could be very interesting because she's actually violating his civil rights. Yeah, she's bordering on that edge, right?
She really is. And not to mention the fact that she's interfering with the operation of a pilot and his aircraft.
That is not the case. So if you actually go to that FAA regulation, there are 2 words or 3 words that are very specific that put it outside of that regulation, and it's in the aircraft.
That is only for manned aircraft?
Only for manned aircraft.
I did
So
not
there's
know
a
that.
great misconception there.
That's not your truck.
It's none of your business if that's my truck.
It is. It's 100% of my business because I'm a property owner right here.
Yeah, there it is. Want the plate off of it? It's NLK, and yours is SLS 8314.
100%. I pay property.
Well, that's fine. I pay property taxes too. I don't care if you pay property tax. I do too.
Why are you wearing a thing on your chest? You're from.
Because I'm recording my film. I'm recording. This right here is recording the screen.
No. I'm talking about the thing on your chest. Why are you recording visuals?
That is what's recording the screen when I'm using it.
The screen records the screen.
Not on this one, it doesn't, unless I got it set up to do it. It records your flight patterns, your altitudes, your where you've
What are
been.
you hired by and what are you doing?
I'm not telling you anything.
Why? Why?
Because I don't have to.
Why?
I'm in public, in the public airspace.
Why would you tell us? We're neighbors.
You're parked on.
You're not my neighbor.
We all watch ourselves. We all watch.
Spying on people, sticking your nose in everybody's business. Go back to bed. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Well, do what you want. I mean, airplanes and drones and everything else are allowed in the airspace, in the public airspace. Then call the police.
So you are.
Somebody-
Why are you parking on private property?
Well, this right here is public right of way, where these tolls are.
Not. This is not.
Well, would you like for it to move on the public right of way? No, I don't have a problem with that. Why are you questioning me?
Because we have a vested interest. We live here.
You just said you were hired by the owner.
I was hired by a company to take some photos of this area. I'm not telling you that
Why
because
Why not?
it's not time to release that information yet.
Why not?
Because it's not.
Because it's not up to you.
No, it's not up to me.
It's not up to you, and you're parking on private
Get your-
property.
Car off private.
I'll park it right there on the public right of way.
That's not public right away.
Where this telephone or this utility pole is public right of way. And see that pole there? This is public right of way.
But your property.
I'm going to move it, and I'll get another battery and fly some more. Not a big deal.
How do people get like this? How is that? How do they get like this? She just looks like someone who's fun to be around.
And it's interesting because she flies a DJI.
She knows. It's
She
got all the.
knows.
What does she say?
And it has all the gyros.
Right.
It's got all the gyros in there. He's bringing the drone in, and he's just gonna land it. What would I do, Ryan?
Well, if you were like me, I'd be pointing it right at them. I'd
Yes.
be recording from the drone.
Absolutely. I would point it in their face
Yeah.
and see what they would want to do about that.
I would be recording the entire time.
Yeah, but you never know what you're going to do until you're in the situation, you know. I mean, it's Texas after all. Everybody has guns. You never know.
Well,
So he's doing the responsible thing. He's switching out his battery. And what are they doing? They're backing up. Look at them. They're backing up. They're not done with him. Oh, no. He's going to put another battery in.
But I'm also a private property owner, and we need to know why you're.
So when you're flying your drone with a license, do people come up to you and demand you identify yourself?
Pretty much.
Well, I don't do that.
We can actually detain your drone. We can actually do.
Okay. That's.
what did she say?
She said we can detain your drone.
Detain your drone.
Can
Ooh.
Ryan, can they detain your drone?
No.
Why
That
can't
would be
they?
called theft or
That would-
conversion.
That would be, yes. Even authorities can't take your SD card or your footage. Yes or no?
It would depend on the state.
Really?
So to use that information, right? So they're grabbing that footage, that card, and they're going to use it against you, that would be a violation of your search and seizure rights under the Fifth Amendment, right?
Of course, but I'm talking about if you're confronted by a local authority or security guard or somebody, and they just tell you to land it and erase the footage or whatever.
Oh, no.
No.
We can actually detain your drone. We can actually do
You might not want to do that.
Yeah, well, I know my rights. And
You know your rights? I know my rights. I'm in public right of way, not on your property. You touch me, you will get the cops called on you.
It doesn't
You
matter.
will go to jail.
It doesn't matter. You're parked.
It doesn't matter where I'm parked.
Yeah, you were. You absolutely were.
10,000 cars went by here today. Nobody had a problem with it.
It doesn't matter. We live here. We have a problem with it. Yeah, we can actually trace your drone
Good for you.
where it is, and we can actually.
And I got flight maps too.
We can do that.
Shows altitude.
We know our rights.
Well, I know my rights too, so.
And you're actually wrong.
All I know is you're over here harassing me and won't leave me the fuck alone.
No.
In fact, you know what?
We're defending our. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. So he's
Go
calling the
ahead. We've already
cops,
delayed
as he
our
should.
order.
Yep.
Well, I don't care what you did.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, at this point, it's
Why
harassment.
don't you release who you're?
I'm not releasing anything to you. You're not the police. I don't have to identify myself to you because I said so.
Call the police. Call them right now.
I'm calling them right now.
Call them right now.
Ken, it's also interesting, right? She said,
For what?
you know, we can track your drone. We know everything about the drone. Well, she's referring to remote ID, right?
Yes.
And the idea is that, and I think she's got that in her mind, that she can find out where the drone is in space and what have you. Well, all right, go for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
but-
then you're going to have all the details that you can then take that. You don't need his identity. You've
Right,
got
she's-
everything that you need to go to the police anyway.
You're standing there with the dude.
Right.
How much more information do you need, Karen?
For what?
Because you won't leave me the fuck alone. That's why.
You were parked on private property.
Is it your property? Hell no. This is the right of way here now.
You don't know that. Maybe that's my property. You don't know that.
This isn't the right of way is not your property.
You lied to me and said you're taking pictures of the sunset. Now you're not.
That's what I was when you came up. At that time, I finished my assignment. It's done. Then I figured I'd take some pictures of the sunset over the water. Go ahead, why? Hey, yeah, can you send an off access the alleyway here? I got a lady and her husband won't leave me alone. She threatened me to confiscate my equipment and everything else. I'm flying a drone out here and taking some photos of the sunset over the river and stuff and she is demanding to know who I am, what I'm doing, why am I doing it, and all kinds of other stuff.
All right, so the cops are on their way.
The cops are coming.
Place your
Okay.
bets. Will the cops care? Whose side do you think the cops will be on? Ryan?
I would think the cop pulls up and says, "Hey, you're harassing the guy. Please leave."
No spoilers.
But it's interesting. She looked like she called the cops.
Oh, yes, she called the cops too. First person to call the cops wins, right? That's how that works.
How you doing?
Did you call us?
I sure did.
Okay.
This lady won't leave me alone. Her and her husband threatened to take my equipment. They threatened to hold me against my will. They backed up here. I moved my truck out of the way. They followed me here, keep threatening me, want me to ID myself to them. I'm told them I'm not IDing anything because I don't have to. I'm in the public, flying a drone in the public airspace with a commercial pilot's license, which is legal.
Okay. Just give me a second, okay?
Here's where the Freedom of Information Act would come in really handy because I want that body cam cop footage. That's what I want. He, like a good citizen, he went over to the other side of the truck and waited. Didn't want to get all up in the face. But I really would like to. Have you ever filed for a Freedom of Information Act for body cam footage?
Yes.
How difficult is it?
It's a 2-sentence thing. It's very quick, very easy.
I'll pay for this. I'll spring for it.
Okay, so we spoke to them. Not a whole lot here. So,
I wasn't even going to call one, but she wouldn't leave me alone. So
the thing we did tell them is basically stay away, no communication with you. You don't communicate with them. It
Yeah.
looks like they're taking off to dinner. This is not their property. Their property's down the road a little bit.
yeah. Now I'll tell you what I'm.
And that's where it ends.
And then it's done.
And then it's done
goes
right
on
there.
to explain.
Yeah. So that's a win. Tom Suarez, that's a win for him.
Yeah. Now, at the same token, did he have to go through all that? I don't think so, right? So,
what would you advise in a Karen situation like this?
you don't want to escalate, right? Because that just is bringing.
Yeah,
them
you
to
don't
a
want to
boil.
escalate because all that does is create content and gives you millions of views.
Well,
who would want to do that? Who would want to do such a thing?
Yes, Ken, you would do that.
Yes, I would.
and spoiler alert, I would go after him with just laying out regulation upon regulation until their head was spinning, and then they'd walk away.
Right. But
the reality is you probably should just ignore them, right? Is let them be their Karen, let them yap, and at some point they're going to get tired of it and they're going to go away.
You're talking about taking the high road.
Yeah.
Let me get my bleep. That. When you're in the right and there's somebody right there in your face telling you that you're wrong, it's hard to ignore. It's hard to ignore.
Well, and at the token where she said, "Hey, I'm going to confiscate your property. I'm going to, detain you."
Yeah.
At that point, you're really needing to have a police officer come and put some distance.
Yes, absolutely. If not for anything else, just to make a report. And again, I'll put a link to this is a really inexpensive, around $200, and it records like for 14 hours. So you can put it on and forget about it, and you can have this protection. Thank you, Tom Suarez, for sharing this. Again, links in the description. I do welcome all the comments, and I hope and I pray that this Texas Turbo Karen sees this. Oh, I want to go to Marble Falls. I want to go exactly where he was. Why do I want to do this?
You FOIA that police report, and you'll have her address and name to send her a link.
I'm going to FOIA the hell out of you, Karen. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Be careful out there. This was funny. It ended well, but a lot of them don't. Overwhelm them with accurate information. Attempt to educate them if they don't want to be educated, because this woman, she said she had a drone license. I'm sure she doesn't even know what a drone license is. But if you want to get certified and get your Part 107 and get the knowledge that you can use next time you're having an encounter with someone like this, here's me from a few weeks ago to tell you more. I'm a drone pilot and slow learner, and that's why I use remotepilot101.com, because when I initially took my first Part 107 test, I failed it. Why is that, you say? Because back in 2016, before anybody knew what the test was going to be like, the FAA was putting out a study guide that was guaranteed to help you pass the test. Well, I did that. I believed the FAA. Those tricky guys. And I failed it. And that was $150 down the drain, because you have to pay even if you fail. I thought to myself, well, I don't want to do that again. I can't afford to do that again. I better get some study material that will really work. And I started doing some research, and then I found this guy. RemotePilot101.com is a great resource. They have chat available if you have any questions 24 hours a day, and it's your one-stop shop for anything you'd ever want to know about drones and drone regulations. One of the best aspects of the course are the quizzes in between the lessons. These are questions developed from actual answers on the real FAA test. The curriculum is organized into easily digestible sections, which makes it very easy for those of us who may not retain information that easily. Well, maybe you're thinking to yourself, I don't even need a Part 107 to make money. I'll just figure some other way around it. I'm smart. I can figure it out. Well, guess what? There's a thing called in furtherance of a business. The FAA's thought of everything. There's no way around it. You absolutely need to get your 14 CFR Part 107 certification in order to legally make money. They'll get you. oh, they'll get you. RemotePilot101.com, the best source for all of your regulatory information so that you can get out there and start making money legally with your drone.